This is QTV Nightly News. I am Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Here are the news headlines. In the ongoing trial of the 2023 shooting of 3 PIU officers, 2 of them fatally, among other developments, the court made an order for 2 media houses, one of them being QTV, to turn over to the court their footage of the press briefing, which took place 2 days after the shooting incident. The ECOWAS military mission in the Gambia, ECOMIG, initially deployed in January 2017, has been granted a final extension of 24 months. The Ministry of Trade on Monday hosted a pre-departure orientation for the first batch of 39 Gambian workers selected to be part of seasonal employment in Spain. ActionAid International de Gambia on Saturday presented essential farming inputs and tools worth over $1 million to 34 smallholder farmers in the North Bank region. And in international news, at the 67th ECOWAS Summit held in Abuja on June 22, 2025, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone was elected chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, succeeding Nigeria's President Tinubu. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. In the ongoing trial of the 2023 shooting of 3 PIU officers, 2 of them fatally, among other developments, the court made an order for 2 media houses, one of them being QTV, to turn over to the court their footage of the press briefing at the police headquarters, which took place on the 15th of September 2023, 2 days after the shooting incident. More in this report.
Profile trial surrounding the fatal shooting of 2 police officers and the wounding of another in September 2023, government officials on Tuesday distanced themselves from key evidence. Testifying before Justice Ibrahim Ajaite at the Banjul High Court, both government spokesperson Ibrahim Aji Sankare and Deputy Inspector General of Police Momodu Sow denied having or seeing any CCTV footage of the prime suspect, Bojang. This contradicts public expectations given the gravity of the case. Audio of Mr. Sankare's prior interview on Wesker's radio was played in court, in which he stated that the 12 September 2023 shooting could have claimed dozens of police lives. While Sankare didn't dispute the interview's content, under cross-examination, he denied calling the suspect a Casamance rebel and said he couldn't recall making such a claim. The courtroom grew tense as defense lawyers questioned whether the informant who identified Bojang received a $1 million reward promised by President Barrow, a claim Mr. Sankare denied knowing about. Meanwhile, Deputy IGP Sow testified he couldn't confirm whether Bojang was armed or the exact time of the shooting. He admitted to holding a press briefing on the 15th of September, but said he didn't have the video. This led to a legal tussle as defense lawyers questioned the court to summon local media houses and the IGP to produce the footage. Despite objections from the prosecution, Justice Ibrahim Ajaite ruled in favor of the defense, ordering QTV Gambia, Kirfatu and the Fatu Network to appear in court with the recorded briefing at the next hearing. The case continues to unfold, raising questions over transparency and evidence handling at the highest levels. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
That story was based on court reporting by Nicholas Bass of The Voice newspaper, and it was narrated by Julden Jai. The ECOWAS military mission in the Gambia, ECOMIG, which was first deployed in January 2017, has been extended for a final 24 months. As Jennifer Sonko reports, the ECOWAS Commission, which sanctioned the deployment and the extension, will develop an exit strategy and liquidation plan for the mission.
This decision was reached during the 67th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, which was held on 22nd June 2025 in Abuja, Nigeria. An economic intervention was deemed necessary after then President Yahya Jammeh refused to concede power to the President-elect Adama Barrow in 2017. The mission came to the Gambia, stabilized the situation, and ensured the peaceful transfer of power and remained to support the new government during the country's democratic transition. In a final communique by the authority issued after the weekend summit, the ECOWAS contingent was applauded for its impactful support to the defense and security in the Gambia and directs the Commission to immediately take steps to readjust the mission's mandate to 24 months from the end of their current mandate as the final extension. The authority finally directs the Commission to develop an exit strategy, including a drawdown and liquidation plan. The final communique highlights ECOWAS' recognition of efforts by the Gambia to create a budget line to support its security sector reform program and its commitment to implementing the 2017 SSR assessment report. The continued presence of the ECOWAS has mixed reactions, with some Gambians expressing concerns about the necessity of its continuation and particularly its impact on national sovereignty and the development of the Gambian security forces. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Posonko.
The Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment on Monday hosted a pre-departure orientation for the first batch of 39 Gambian workers selected to take up seasonal employment in Spain. Alusise has more.
Held at the Ministry's Conference Hall in Banjul, the orientation brought together key stakeholders from the Gambia and Spain, as well as successful applicants who were taken through the do's and don'ts of the program. The initiative is part of a bilateral effort to promote safe, legal and organized migration pathways. This batch of 39 workers was selected following what the ministry said was a vigorous vetting process of over 10,000 applicants. The Commissioner for Labour, Nyalo Barrow, advised selected workers to serve as ambassadors of the Gambia, urging them to maintain discipline and good conduct while in Spain to ensure the continuity and credibility of the program. Violeta Insa Sandoval, charged the affairs of the Embassy of Spain in the Gambia, assured the workers that they would be well received and made to feel at home in Spain, while urging them to respect the terms and guidelines of the labor arrangement.
You are going to be working in Catalonia, in Lleida. So in that area is where most of the Gambians live in Spain. So I'm sure you will find friends, you will find even relatives there. So you will have a lot of support. So I'm sure you will enjoy work and have a very wonderful time in Spain.
According to officials, the workers are expected to depart for Spain this week, where they will be received at the Barcelona airport. The initial contract is for 3 months and is strictly limited to agricultural work as outlined in their permits, with no permission to switch to other sectors. According to ministry officials, each worker will receive a minimum wage of €1,000 per month, along with free accommodation and meals. Tijan Diba, one of the beneficiaries, described the selection process as free from political interference. He called on his fellow workers to conduct themselves responsibly to protect and preserve the opportunity for others. Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Trade, Mot Eke Seka, hailed Spain for the partnership and encouraged other European countries to emulate this initiative.
So if we have a formal way of taking people to Europe and they will be recognized in a honorable way, I think that is why this particular program is exceptional and is laudable. As the speakers have said, I just want to underscore a few things. One, you are the ambassadors of this country, and you are going as ambassadors. As ambassador, you are not only representing yourself, but you are representing the entire country. Anything you do that is bad, they will quote, it's a Gambian who has done it. And that is not telling well for the entire country. If you do exceptionally well, they will also say the Gambians have a very good track record in Spain. And that is what we want.
This and other engagements were signed following the visit in August 2024 to the Gambia and other West African countries of Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. As the first batch prepares to leave, the success of this pilot program is expected to lay the foundation for future collaborations aimed at contributing to addressing youth unemployment through safe and structured migration. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, Action Aid International, the Gambia, AAITG, on Saturday presented essential farming inputs, including groundnut seedlings and tools, worth over $1 million to 34 smallholder farmers in Jufure, Upper Nyumi District, North Bank Region. Osman Jatta has the details.
Climate change continues to have a devastating impact on agriculture in the Gambia. The 2024 farming season was particularly harsh for groundnut farmers, many of whom blamed poor yields on prolonged dry spells and erratic rainfall. This latest intervention by Action Aid the Gambia is part of its broader mission to promote sustainable agriculture, strengthen food security, and build community resilience. Speaking at the handover ceremony, Fafa Ocham, head of program and policy at Action Aid International, the Gambia, emphasized the long-term vision behind the initiative.
We are giving back what rightfully belongs to you. This is not charity. It is your entitlement. Action Aid has developed a 5-year plan to invest in 3 key areas: empowering women and youth to help eradicate poverty. Our law mandates that 78% of our funding must directly benefit the people. We also call on government and local councils to prioritize their funding to ensure the public receives adequate and timely support.
Also present at the event were Karamo Minte, Regional Agriculture Director for North Bank Region, and Modo BK Sise, representative of the National Disaster Management Agency, NDMA.
Support yourselves and your communities. This gesture from Action Aid should be amplified through collective action. Not everyone received groundnut seeds, so those who did must use them wisely. These seeds are expensive and are meant for farming.
Our findings show that over 16,000 people were affected by disasters across the country last year. In North Bank alone, more than 6,000 were impacted, an alarming number. This support will greatly assist farmers. I urge all farmers to stay in regular contact with the Regional Agricultural Directorate to receive timely weather updates and advice.
In total, 16 farmers received 50 kg of groundnut seeds each. 15 farmers received 35,000 each to purchase farm implements and draft animals, donkeys or horses, while free fishermen were given 25,000 each to acquire fishing gear. Beneficiaries were selected through a community-led process to ensure transparency and fairness. Each recipient is expected to share tools, knowledge and portion of their yield to help scale impact within their villages. Among the beneficiaries were Cherno Seidi from Kirdemba Hole and Ida Jeng from Pakaunjogo, both of whom expressed gratitude for the timely support.
I am very happy, considering the post-harvest losses we faced last year. Receiving these seeds means a lot, not just for me, but for my entire village.
This support came at the right time. My community nominated me because they believed I needed it. I do not have many resources, and I have children in school.
Beyond the individual farmers, the wider community stands to benefit through increased productivity, more food on family tables, and goods in local markets. Ultimately, the initiative strengthens local economies and helps build resilience against climate-related challenges. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
We are taking a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll bring you updates on the WHO's new global policy for expanding pneumococcal conjugate vaccine coverage among children and the Leadership, Management and Development course for senior warrant officers of the Gambia Armed Forces. Stay tuned.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
At Ajib Bank, we are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. The World Health Organization has updated its global policy on pneumococcal conjugate vaccines, PCVs, paving the way for more children, particularly in low and middle income countries, to access life-saving protection against pneumonia and other deadly infections. More in this report with Ansumane Sonyasi.
Despite instituting strong preventive measures and adopting the conjugate vaccine as early as 2009, with vaccine coverage still at an all-time high, recording 95% coverage, pneumonia remains the leading cause of death among Gambian children, responsible for about 20% of all deaths in under 5s. However, to address challenges in vaccine accessibility and affordability, especially in developing countries such as the Gambia, the WHO has updated its global policy on pneumococcal conjugate vaccines. This would also ensure that more children have access to vital protection against pneumonia. The revised policy, published in WHO's weekly epidemiological record, follows years of research aimed at expanding vaccine coverage, reducing costs, and improving health outcomes. A key component of the policy change is the endorsement of reduced dose and fractional dose schedules, which could significantly cut costs while maintaining effectiveness. One of the most influential studies underpinning this policy shift is the pneumococcal vaccine schedules study conducted at the MRC unit, the Gambia at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in collaboration with the Gambia's Ministry of Health. Launched in 2019, the PVS study enrolled over 33,000 infants in rural Gambia and compared the standard 3-dose schedule with a 2-dose alternative. Results demonstrated that the 2-dose schedule was just as safe and effective at preventing pneumococcal disease and controlling bacterial transmission in the community. PCVs are widely recognized for their role in combating Streptococcus pneumonia, the leading cause of severe pneumonia, septicemia, and meningitis in children. Since their introduction in 2000, PCVs have saved more than 1.6 million lives. However, the high cost of the vaccine has long posed a barrier to broader and more sustainable access. Several health experts, notably Professor Umberto de Alessandro, Unit Director at MRC Gambia at London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and Dr. Grant Mackenzie, Principal Investigator of the PSV study, have voiced support for this latest WHO policy, describing it as a welcoming development that is both effective and suitable. The updated WHO recommendations now allow countries with high vaccine coverage, robust community immunity, and adequate surveillance systems to adopt the 2-dose schedule or explore fractional dosing. This change is expected to free up resources, simplify vaccination programs, and reduce the number of injections infants must receive. As the global community continues to battle childhood pneumonia, WHO's new policy offers a more adaptable and cost-effective path towards one informed by collaborative research and backed by real-world data. Ansumane Sonyasi for QTV News.
30 senior warrant officers of the Gambia Armed Forces began a 3-week leadership, management and development course on Monday as part of ongoing efforts to enhance operational effectiveness and professional standards within the forces. Our Bob has the details.
This training forms part of the Gambia Armed Forces broader commitment
to institutional development and the continuous professional growth of its personnel. The senior warrant officers were drawn from various units across the Gambia Army. Major Abdoulaye Seka, commandant of the Gambia Armed Forces Training School, highlighted the objectives of the training program.
The course is aimed at building an effective, motivated, and professional junior leadership cadre in order to bridge the existing gaps in professional military education between the officers and the soldiers' cadre of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Harriet King, the British High Commissioner to the Gambia, and Brigadier General Seth Njai, Commandant of the Republican National Guard, both underscored the importance of the course, highlighting its role in advancing leadership, discipline, and professional excellence within the Gambia Armed Forces.
Lifelong learning and continuous professional education and training are absolutely key to building resilient institutions and motivated workforces, be they civilian or military organizations. It is also so inspiring to hear that it is the GAF leadership who identified the requirement for this course and made it its #1 priority for the UK-Gambian training cooperation this year.
This leadership management course has been carefully designed to refine your role as well as strengthen your ability to lead, advise, and inspire professionalism within the ranks.
Here is Ibrahim Majite, Warrant Officer Class 2, a participant in the training.
The expectation from this course is to learn new skills and new knowledge, how to manage troops under our command. Yeah, because we serve as a mediator between the high command of the Gambia Armed Forces and the lower ranks. So our knowledge of leadership and skill is very, very vital.
The Leadership Management and Development course is also designed to equip the Army with a comprehensive understanding of the roles and responsibilities of warrant officers, including key areas such as terms and conditions of service, combat estimate procedures, administration and welfare management. For QTV News, I am Awabov.
The end of that report takes us to international news. At the 67th ECOWAS Summit held in Abuja, Nigeria, on June 22, 2025, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone was elected as the new chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, succeeding Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Loli M. Camara tells us more.
President Bio takes the helm amid turbulence in the region, including rising insecurity in the Sahel and coastal nations, numerous military coups, and the notable withdrawal of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger from the bloc. In his opening remarks, he pledged decisive action for restoring constitutional order and deepening democracy, revitalizing security cooperation, unlocking economic integration, and building institutional credibility. President Bola Tinubu has served as ECOWAS chair since July 2023. His tenure coincided with deepening regional instability as mentioned above. 2 years into and at the end of his tenure, observers and stakeholders agree that President Tinubu's chairmanship has been marked by principled regionalism, diplomatic clarity, and a bold reaffirmation of ECOWAS' founding democratic values. In his farewell address, President Tinubu expressed gratitude and hope, urging the bloc to deepen cooperation, uphold diplomatic principles, and foster inclusive growth, especially for youth, women, and vulnerable populations.
As I now hand over the mantle of leadership to my great friend and dear brother, His Excellency, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone, the new chairman of ECOWAS Authority of States and Government, I do so with a deep sense of fulfillment and optimism for the future of West Africa. I remain confident that with the continued cooperation of all its members, ECOWAS will scale over greater heights in our collective pursuit of peace, security, stability, and prosperity.
A former Brigadier General turned democratically elected leader, President Bio, first took office in 2018, winning a second term in 2023 after a closely contested election. He made these remarks shortly after the exchange of the baton as ECOWAS chair.
I accept this responsibility with full awareness of the magnitude and of the task ahead, and also the complexity of the moment. Let me begin by recognizing the outstanding leadership of my predecessor, my dear brother, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the great work he's done. Your tenure was marked by unwavering commitment to regional dialogue, economic recovery, and peace building.
Institutional reform, strengthening transparency, boosting public trust, and solidifying ECOWAS' relevance lie ahead under President Bio's leadership. His predecessor, President Tinubu, leaves behind a legacy of firmness on democracy and security, while urging collaborative, inclusive progress. The region now waits to see whether President Bio can bridge various divides, strengthen unity, and steer West Africa toward greater peace and prosperity. For QTV News, Loliam Kamara.
And in sports news, Sibanor are champions of the West Coast Region Third Division title after a 2-1 win against Kunkujang Friends FC in a trailing final played at the Boxbar Mini Stadium in Brikama on Saturday. More in this report. Sibanor are rejoicing after a resounding win against Kunkujang Friends FC at the Boxbar Mini Stadium in Brikama on Saturday. The stadium burst with energy when Pakaramo Drame fired Kunkujang into the lead with a stunning goal just 15 minutes into the game. Sibanor came from behind in the second half to secure a 2-1 victory after Francis Gomez burst forward with a delightful run before blazing his shot into the net to equalize in the 61st minute. The goal energized the traveling crowd from Funi Sibanor. The equalizer gave Sibanor more control of the game, displaying greater attacking threat and goal-scoring opportunities. With less than 10 minutes remaining on the clock, Seni Nyasi latched onto a pass from Francis Gomez, sliced through the defense and netted the winning goal for Sibanor. Francis Gomez, who was named man of the match, expressed his joy at being part of Sibanor's success story.
Only God knows what is needed for us. Yeah, I saw that the defenders were wet, so I tried just win the ball. So I tried to use my pace.
With this victory, Sibanor have once again shown that Fonyi is home to talented footballers who can compete in Gambia's league football against top teams from the West Coast region and Greater Banjul area. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News. Before we end this news bulletin, here is a recap of our main news headlines. In the ongoing trial of the 2023 shooting of 3 PIO officers, 2 of them fatally, among other developments, the court made an order for 2 media houses, one of them being QTV, to turn over to the court their footage of the press briefing, which took place 2 days after the shooting incident. The ECOWAS military mission in the Gambia, ECOMIG, initially deployed in the January 2017, has been granted a final extension of 24 months. The Ministry of Trade on Monday hosted a pre-departure orientation for the first batch of 39 Gambian workers selected to take up seasonal employment in Spain. Action Aid International de Gambia on Saturday presented essential farming inputs and tools worth over $1 million to 34 smallholder farmers in the North Bank region. And in international news, at the 67th ECOWAS Summit held in Abuja, Nigeria on June 22, 2025, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone was elected chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, succeeding Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's all we have time for in this news edition. Thank you very much for watching, but join us again at 10 for another bulletin.